Highguard is not gone the way that the developers, the media, and really anybody in the mainstream industry expected it to go. They thought this was going to be a massive game, another Apex Legends or a Valorant, and it has completely fallen off in only 3 days. And now the media is putting out articles saying, you guys are being too harsh on it. You need to give it a chance, and it's not that bad of an experience. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, what is interesting about this game is how quickly it fell off, because you typically see a game either release and nobody's playing it and it's dead on arrival, or you see it over several years get to this point, but in only a day, it was already dying. It had lost 80% of its players after 24 hours. After 48 hours, it had lost 90%, and well, now we're up to 94% in day 3. On day 1, it had peaked at 97,249, and this, of course, was when there were people who were promoting it because they were paid. Look at the Twitch stats. The all-time peak 3 days ago was 377,000. None of these streamers have touched it ever since they were paid to. It's not like they clearly enjoyed it. And, well, this looks suspicious. I know a lot of people were saying it might even be bots. I wouldn't even be shocked if they botted it to try to, up those player numbers. It is a free-to-play game, but I think that ultimately it really does come down to the paid promotion and the way that the access media was hyping this up. And yes, it is a free-to-play game, so when you hear the Jeff Keighley's talking about it, saying, oh, you're going to be apologizing to me because it's the next big game, and when you know that they highlighted it in the main slot at the Game Awards, and you see the media running damage control for it, saying it's going to be amazing, yeah, I mean, it is tempting to jump into it, but this is a waste of space on your hard drive or your SSD. It is a terrible game. The gameplay is bad, the maps are bad, the goal is bad, it gets very boring, it is buggy, it is broken. I mean, I live streamed it and I got 2 out of the 3 penalty strikes because the game crashed on me. Just a terrible situation all around, and it doesn't even deserve 6,500 players. And I thought, oh, well, 97,000, it dropped pretty drastically. It was at like 25K. I was like, you know what? Maybe it will end up having a smaller but consistent player base. That's not even the case. And now, with the player counts dropping and the scores over on Steam being mostly negative, basically everybody hates it, the media has had a slew of articles released talking about how good it is and how it deserves a chance. All this BS. PC Gamer had said Highguard deserves a chance, so don't kill it out of spite. Review bombing doesn't help anyone. It's not review bombing when people genuinely feel this way. We hear all the time when a show comes out and it gets bad scores, or a game comes out and it gets bad scores. Oh, you guys are just toxic losers. You're just review bombing it because you hate a certain element, whether it's diversity or the characters or the actors or the story. It's never just, hey, you know what? Maybe people are giving this a bad review because it's just a bad freaking game. It says Highguard's gone from one controversy to another since its announcement at the Game Awards, from its awkward reveal to the developers being weirdly silent until launch. A not insignificant number of people immediately wrote it off, calling it dead on arrival, the next Concord, if you will. Unsurprisingly, this frankly unjustified hatred of the very concept of Highguard being a game that exists has gone on to plague its launch. Despite pulling in nearly 100,000 concurrent players on Steam at launch, it was sitting at a 33 mostly negative reviews, and then they say that they can understand why people have been so quick to judge. Highguard's an awkward hodgepodge of genres that was poorly unveiled, and a sharp departure from the developer's penchant for movement shooters. I, for one, wish he had a spiritual successor to Titanfall, and Highguard isn't that. However, Highguard deserves its fair shot on its own merits. It is free, and I feel scammed for playing it. They say that the genre fusion isn't slick, but it's interesting, and how come hits like Marvel Rivals and even Arc Raiders haven't faced similar criticism? Because they've got elements to other games. And yeah, I mean, they're very upset by this entire situation. They said by marking Highguard as dead on arrival and review bombing it into reality, yes, Wildlight's pet project will inevitably die, even if the developer claims it doesn't need super huge player counts to be successful. It needs some player counts to be successful, though, because they need you to buy skins. They need a audience that's going to swipe their credit card, and that's not happening. Here we have Polygon saying Highguard isn't dead on arrival. In fact, after 4 hours, I'm convinced it's one of the best new shooters in years. I mean, were they in the menu for 4 hours? Were they just looking through the skins for 4 hours? Maybe they played one single match and then they're basing their entire opinion on that like 10-minute span of time. It makes no sense because this game has nothing special going for it. And really, it just comes across as the access media shilling for yet another game they thought was going to be the next pile of modern audience swap. And yeah, having 100,000 people in the first hour of the game watching does seem like a lot. Their marketing strategy clearly worked, but it just isn't a good game. They even say ever since its reveal to close out the 2025 Game Awards, Highguard has been the subject of much chatter. Some people wondered if it'll be the next Concord or commented on the lack of visible marketing since its release, and pretty much everyone has had questions about what the game actually is, though a certain group of vocal gamers are no doubt counting on Highguard to fail. They're going to be disappointed to hear this. Highguard freaking slaps. No, it doesn't. They are coping. They are lying. And really, this first line proves that they just want to own the chuds. They just want to be on the correct side of history, the winning side of history, yet they never freaking are. Clearly, when they say that a certain group of vocal gamers are counting on Highguard to fail, but they're going to be disappointed to hear that it's so good, yeah, we were right yet again and you were wrong. I did talk about this article in another video. This article is from Aftermath, which of course is Nathan Grayson, the guy who Zoe Quinn gave favors for during Gamergate 1 in order to get some positive press and some positive attention on her. But in this article, he targets me. He basically calls me a right-wing slop tuber simply for criticizing video games. And ooh, he uses 4 of my videos as an example as to how toxic people are and how cynical we are. I'm sorry. It's not my fault that I'm just being honest and the games releasing that I criticize are trash. Maybe if games were better, I wouldn't have to criticize them so much. I do talk a lot on my channel about positive things. I mean, I stream 20 hours a week on this channel. Generally, it's video games that I like. But what is funny about this is it's just an article to shill for Wildlight. It's just an article to shill for Highguard. He says Highguard is yet another symptom and victim of a rapidly decaying internet, and in an online ecosystem ruled by cynics, clip farmers, and rage baiters, Highguard never stood a chance of having a normal launch. Yeah, never stood a chance of having a normal launch because they marketed it at one of the biggest video game shows of the year. They went silent, and then the game came out. They paid a bunch of streamers to play it, but those streamers didn't stick around because it sucked, and nobody else liked it because it sucks. Maybe go and talk to Wildlight and tell them you should have created a better game. Maybe talk to Sony. Tell them, ooh, maybe Concord should have been a better game. Do it with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, Dustborn. I mean, these games are all atrocious simply because they're atrocious. And the fact that we're seeing these journos run damage control is just so funny to me because they look pathetic. Most of them are getting ratioed on social media. I know I had ratioed Aftermath. PC Gamer's post is getting ratioed by people laughing, saying, no, you sound quite desperate, as if you have something to lose. Why are you eating shit? It makes chuds like you mad. Oh, you like the game? Good. Now I want to kill it more. A reminder the PC Gamer is out of touch. And yeah, we are talking about even IGNs, right, that give games like Concord a 7 out of 10 and say it's got a lot of potential. And they said the same thing about other games that have released like Concord. They even said Concord deserved a second chance, but we didn't give it a first, which is just so pathetic because these games are terrible all around. And when a product is bad, it deserves to fail, and they are not entitled to my addition to the player count. They are not entitled to me opening my wallet for them. And well, this is why nobody trusts the Access media anymore. So I'll be keeping my eye on Highguard, covering it more in the future. But man, oh man, have the chuds upset the Access media. I'm sure that the developers are going to be voicing their opinions on their failures really soon and saying nobody gave us a chance and coping and seething. And all I can really do is point and laugh. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.